Too perfect to be real. That was the phrase that took over every social platform the moment Kai and Tan Songyun appeared together again. Fans had seen chemistry before. They had seen sparks before. But what happened between these two that night was something else entirely. It was the kind of connection people don't just see, they feel. The kind that makes even strangers stop scrolling because the energy between them doesn't simply look romantic, it looks inevitable. Their story begins quietly, almost naturally, the way most undeniable connections do. Months had passed since they last worked together, and during that time, the industry had moved on to new pairings, new rumors, new headlines. But for fans of Kai and Tan Songyun, the silence only made anticipation stronger. And then, without warning, they were placed side by side again at a major industry event. Cameras turned, lights shifted, and suddenly the world forgot how to breathe. What made this reunion so shocking wasn't just that they looked good together. It was the way Kai's entire expression softened the moment he saw her. It was the way Tan Songyun smiled, small and shy at first, before meeting his eyes with a familiarity that suggested this wasn't a reunion between colleagues. This looked like two people picking up a conversation they hadn't finished yet. A conversation only they understood. The red carpet witnesses described it as an undeniable pull, the kind that didn't require scripted poses or forced interactions. Every glance felt charged. Every movement felt synchronized. Kai stepped aside as if instinctively making space for Tan Songyun. She brushed a stray wrinkle on his jacket sleeve as if she had done it 1,000 times before. These weren't gestures between co-stars. These were gestures between people who cared, deeply. When the interview portion began, fans expected professionalism. What they got was something far more revealing. Tan Songyun, known for her warmth, looked at Kai before answering nearly every question, as if seeking his silent approval. And Kai watched her with an attentiveness that spoke louder than words, an attentiveness that felt protective, proud, and deeply personal. The moment that broke the internet happened halfway through their segment. The interviewer jokingly said they looked too comfortable around each other, asking whether they had met privately before the event. Tan Songyun laughed it off, but Kai didn't deny it. His exact words were simple, yet explosive. He said, "We've stayed in touch. She's someone I don't want to lose connection with." The clip spread like wildfire. The phrase "don't want to lose connection" became the #1 trending search. Fans replayed the moment again and again, studying every detail. Tan Songyun's stunned blink, Kai's unplanned sincerity, the tiny smile she gave afterward that looked dangerously close to emotional. From that moment, everything changed. Backstage footage leaked hours later, adding fuel to the fire. In it, Kai approached Tan Songyun with 2 cups of warm tea, one exactly the way she liked it. Not too sweet, not too hot, not too strong. He handed it to her casually, as though he'd done it 1,000 times, and she accepted it without hesitation. No actress accepts a drink so comfortably from a male co-star unless trust already exists. Fans immediately knew this wasn't the first time he had taken care of her this way. Reporters noticed their dynamic too. During breaks, they stayed close, not close enough to seem scripted, but close enough that every gaze, every lean, every shared whisper felt loaded with meaning. Kai stood slightly behind her, like a quiet shield, especially when the crowd around them became overwhelming. Tan Songyun would glance back at him, a silent affirmation that she knew he was there. Then came the moment no one expected, captured by a passerby's phone. As they waited for their next segment, Tan Songyun had a loose strand of hair fall across her face. Without thinking, Kai reached forward and gently tucked it behind her ear. It was small. It was subtle. But it was intimate in a way that couldn't be denied. Her eyes widened in surprise, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she smiled, soft, flustered, almost glowing. Fans described it as the moment the world collectively screamed. What made their chemistry so shocking wasn't just the physical closeness. It was the emotional depth behind it. Kai looked at her the way someone looks at a person they've secretly admired for far too long. And Tan Songyun responded with a quiet, steady affection that suggested she felt safe around him, that she trusted him, that she saw something in him nobody else did. After the event, speculation grew even more intense when they were spotted leaving through the same exit. Their teams walked ahead, but the two of them lagged behind, lost in conversation. Sukai carried his blazer over one arm, offering it to her when the night breeze grew cold. She refused at first, but he insisted, draping it gently over her shoulders. Paparazzi photos caught the moment. It was tender, it was cinematic, and it was unmistakably intimate. The internet exploded. Fans from around the world began posting edits, slow-motion analyses, and compilations of their interactions. Comments poured in by the millions. They looked like a couple who forgot they're not supposed to act like a couple in public. This chemistry is beyond acting. This feels too real. But the most repeated comment was the same one that started it all. Too perfect to be real. Insiders then began sharing subtle hints. Production staff from previous projects revealed that Sukai always went out of his way to make Tan Songyun comfortable on set. That he memorized her habits. That he noticed when she was tired and brought her snacks during breaks. Meanwhile, crew members said Tan Songyun had always described Sukai as someone she felt unexpectedly at ease with, someone who made her laugh even when she was stressed. The narrative grew even stronger when an anonymous source claimed they had been quietly meeting long before the event. Nothing romantic, but deeply personal. Conversations over coffee. Walks after late rehearsals. Shared confidences about career pressure and loneliness. This wasn't infatuation. It was emotional intimacy built over time. Fans now begged for a drama together, convinced their chemistry would rival the greatest on-screen pairings of the decade. But others believed the story extended far beyond acting. Some thought Sukai had been waiting for the right moment. Others believed Tan Songyun had already chosen him, quietly and without fanfare. Whatever the truth was, their connection that night didn't feel accidental. It didn't feel manufactured. It felt like something that had been building quietly, patiently, stubbornly, and finally revealed itself when neither of them could hide it anymore. The internet could sense it. And whether they were ready or not, Sukai and Tan Songyun had become the most talked about pair of the year, not because of rumors, but because real chemistry cannot be faked, cannot be staged, and cannot be hidden. Too perfect to be real. And yet, somehow, real enough to leave the world breathless. What happened after that night only intensified the fire. Sukai and Tan Songyun tried to return to their usual schedules, but nothing about the atmosphere around them felt normal anymore. Every move they made, every tiny detail, every accidental overlap was immediately magnified by millions of eyes watching them with renewed obsession. The morning after the event, fans noticed something strange. Tan Songyun posted a casual morning photo on social media, a simple picture of her favorite breakfast setup. It looked harmless, just tea, a ceramic plate, warm lighting, but fans with sharp eyes zoomed into the reflection on the plate. There, faintly, was the edge of a navy blazer draped over the back of a chair. And the pattern on the sleeve looked suspiciously identical to the blazer Sukai had given her the night before. The comments section exploded. People were convinced she had kept the blazer, that she had taken it home with her, that she had slept in it, worn it, or held onto it the way someone holds onto a memory they're not ready to let go of. Meanwhile, Sukai went live later that afternoon. He planned to promote a brand partnership, but viewers immediately noticed how unusually upbeat he seemed. He kept smiling, unprovoked, as though something or someone was replaying in his mind. He answered questions with a softness he usually saved only for private moments, and at one point, when a fan asked about the event from the previous night, he paused for a second too long. Then he said something that sent fans spiraling. It was nice seeing familiar faces again. Some people bring comfort without trying. Comfort without trying. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. A day later, rumors started circulating that Sukai had rearranged his schedule, choosing to film a commercial in a district suspiciously close to Tan Songyun's drama set. Industry insiders said it could have been coincidence, but others insisted that Sukai had personally requested the location change. What made things even more suspicious was what happened afterward. A blurry photo leaked late that evening, two figures walking beside a quiet line of trees, dimly lit by street lamps. The woman wore a loose hoodie and cap pulled low, the man wore a mask and walked slightly behind her, head bent close as if listening intently. It was them. Fans recognized their silhouettes instantly. The way Sukai's broad shoulders curved protectively inward. The way Tan Songyun held her hands behind her back, leaning subtly toward him as they talked. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't romanticized. It was quiet, personal, and entirely unforced. People online described it as the kind of walk couples take when the world feels too loud and all they want is each other's presence. This time, both agencies stayed silent. No denials, no clarifications, nothing. And silence, especially in this industry, was louder than words. By the next morning, hashtags linking their names topped every major platform. Fans began digging deeper, finding parallels they had never noticed before. Matching bracelets from months ago, similar late-night posts about missing someone, quotes about trust, timing, and fate that now felt like pieces of a puzzle nobody realized existed. Then came the incident that changed everything. During an interview for Tan Songyun's new drama, a reporter asked her what type of person she found truly comforting in her life. She smiled shyly before answering. Someone who notices the things I don't say. Someone who listens to the quiet version of me. She didn't mention any names. She didn't have to. Kai posted a story an hour later with a simple line. I hear you. No context. No explanation. Just 3 words that sent every corner of the internet into chaos. At this point, it no longer felt like speculation. It felt like watching a story unfold in real time. 2 people who kept gravitating back to each other no matter how long they'd been apart. Insiders later confirmed what fans suspected, that Kai and Tan Songyun had indeed stayed in touch privately for years, that their bond had deepened quietly, slowly, away from cameras, that Kai had always admired her sincerity, and that she trusted him in a way she couldn't explain. One insider even said, they're not a casual pairing. Their connection is intentional. It's real. Everything reached its peak when Tan Songyun attended a close friend celebration dinner. Photos leaked from inside the venue, low lighting, laughter, warm atmosphere. But the biggest shock was seeing Kai seated just a few chairs away from her. Not because he was invited, but because he was not supposed to be there at all. He showed up for her. Throughout the evening, people saw them sharing soft conversations, Tan Songyun laughing so hard she covered her face, Kai leaning in closer every time she whispered something. Guests said their chemistry was unmistakable, undeniable, even among people who knew nothing about their public image. A witness claimed he looked at her like he was memorizing her, like he's been waiting for her for a long time. And she looked at him like he was the one person in the room who made her feel at peace. By midnight, when the celebration ended, they left within minutes of each other. Not together, but close enough that it was clear the night didn't end there. Fans believed they were headed to the same destination. Some said they took a quiet ride to avoid attention. Others believed they stayed behind in the venue's private lounge before leaving separately. Whatever happened, the truth was undeniable. Their bond was far deeper than anyone imagined. What began as chemistry had evolved into connection. What began as connection now looked dangerously close to something real, something that made even the harshest critics soften. Kai and Tan Songyun were no longer just rumored partners. They were 2 people slowly, inevitably revealing the truth of their feelings through every stolen glance, every shared moment, every unguarded action. Their story was no longer a fantasy created by fans. It was becoming a reality unfolding in front of the entire world. And the world could not look away.